Hi everybody, welcome to Climate Crunch, the channel all about the planet, people, and gaining fresh perspectives on all things climate change. Despite the headlines about everything being Norsed and doomed, we're here to discuss real-world climate stories and provide some grounded optimism. Whether your hero is Greta Thunberg, Donald Trump, Extinction Rebellion, or the Tiger King, or you're new to the pod, welcome. We've got you covered, so keep listening.
Hello everyone, this is Charles from Climate Crunch. Welcome to episode 1 of our podcast series. Today, we are going to talk about the tension between science and the public, which can lead to the erasure of some storylines. I hope you'll enjoy. What a lot of people don't realise is that there has often been an underlying distrust of the scientific community from the public throughout history, and today is no exception. The extent to which this is true has varied over time. After World War II, scientists in the US and the UK were respected and understood by the general public, but by the end of the 20th century, a series of issues, such as the Jim Crops debate, meant this was no longer the case. Also notable is the fact that this distrust of science varies with demography. It has long been believed that individuals who are educated to a greater extent have a greater trust in the scientific community. Despite this, a study carried out by Gauchat in 2012 highlighted the fact that this recent decline in trust was only notable amongst conservative Americans and individuals that attended church. The reasons for this loss of trust aren't fully understood, though the idea held by most of the scientific community is that the public misunderstand the science. However, Irwin and Bonney in their 2009 paper state that it is the scientific community that misunderstands the public. Relating this back to climate change, this underestimation of the public can lead to the silencing of alternate and local forms of knowledge, thus reducing the extent to which we can mitigate and adapt to the impacts of climate change. Now, it isn't all bad news. The scientific community are starting to make a great effort to include the public. The main way this is occurring is via citizen science projects. These are research projects where the public is used for observation and data collection. Dickinson and Bonney noted in 2012 that these projects increase the extent to which the public take interest in the work of the scientific community, and may even change attitudes and behaviour of the public towards the environment, which is an added bonus.
Well, thanks for that, Charles. That was very stimulating information. I do have a couple of questions for you. You mentioned that the research has shown how the scientific community often disregards public and sort of local knowledge. Why is that?
Well, I think it's because of the way in which scientific study is normally carried out. Following the quantitative revolution in geography, it's often been assumed by scientists that any qualitative data, i.e. knowledge held by the public, contains bias, so doesn't fit in with what they're aiming for. Mm-hmm. Scientists often don't recognise that, in fact, local knowledge can be invaluable, particularly when it comes to climate change, as individuals have a greater understanding of the local area, which can come in useful with issues such as flooding.
Cool. So sort of indigenous populations, for example. And these citizen science projects that you mentioned in your earlier bit of talking, how accessible are they? Can people listening to the pod right now, can they get access to one of these projects?
Yeah, so basically the projects vary in difficulty and what they demand of the participants. Because of this, it's likely that based on their content alone, some people won't be able to access the kind of content, won't be able to engage with it. Having said this, none of the projects I've looked at actually require any form of proof with regards to expertise. So any barriers to individuals getting involved is actually constructed by the individuals themselves.
Do you have any particular case studies for a citizens science project?
Yeah, so BioBlitz is a great example I came across, and it's in fact recommended by National Geographic. It involves a group of people in an area, for example a class in a school, identifying as many species as possible in their local area. This is then combined with data from other groups to create a large database covering a much wider area. This is an excellent example of a very accessible project that really opens up the field of science to the public.
And is that in the UK then?
Yes, it's based in the UK, mainly focused on England, yeah.
Fantastic. So anyone listening to the pod in the UK, find BioBlitz. Charles, thank you so much for your time, and I hope to catch up with you soon.